There we go. Hi, everybody. This is Janet, right? This is Yo-Yo, my cat. And together we will be doing an amazing Q&A on healthy family boundaries. And as I've said, a lot of these questions on family boundaries have been pre-submitted. I sent a really fast Yo-Yo. I sent a really fast survey to the healing participants that we did a Healthy Family Boundaries healing today, and I sent a fast survey to them. Be good, Yo-Yo. And they gave me like basically 4 pages of Healthy Family Boundaries questions. So I will do 1 or 2 live questions, but I really make no promises about getting all the live questions in, just because there's so much good stuff here that was pre-submitted that I have my hands full with that, because this probably will be like, I mean, I say an hour, but probably more like an hour and maybe an hour and a half max, this live stream, just because I already did a healing and I don't want to turn into a pumpkin. But I'm just messing with my computer right now for a sec, and then I will start. I need to get all my windows right so that I see what I need to see. All right, so let me know if you can hear me. You know, if it's working, just say I can hear you, something like that. That would be nice to have that confirmed. I'm not very good at cleaning all my glasses, so like sometimes I'll reach for a pair and they're not clean. Anyway, I'm still waiting for someone to say they can hear me. I need confirmation because one time, like, I wasn't actually streaming yet, but it looked like I was, so I didn't know. So I'm waiting for confirmation. Oh, thank God. All right, good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so now I had my hair up and then I took it down, and so it doesn't always behave. Anyway, who cares? All right, so thank you for the confirmation. Let's get going. I do see the live questions, but like I said, I have so many that are already submitted. So I will start with my pre-submitted questions. And if you pre-submitted questions, do not also post questions, please, please, please. Okay. My first one that I'm going to do, she didn't actually post it as a question on the survey, but there's like a question in it, and it's awesome, and so I'll do it. So she listed her mom and her sister, their names, and then she said her older sister, she said, older sister I feel inferior to. So in today's healing, we cleared spiritual agreements that were unhealthy. Yeah, we did it when we were working the chakras. Huh. I'm not going to do it for the 90 people now, but I'll walk you guys through clearing unhealthy family spiritual agreements. Because we did it when we were clearing the chakras, which makes sense. That's probably good enough. But I also like doing it like in a more overt, like palpable way. So you can imagine spiritual agreements like rocks or scrolls of paper or sticks or something physical, you know, something that you can imagine out in front of you. And so just imagine any agreements with family members that you have, and just imagine them all arrayed out in front of you. So it could be a bunch of sticks, a bunch of paper scrolls, a bunch of rocks, whatever. And you're going to just update them all. you're going to just use gold light and your angels help so that you update them all, so that some of them melt entirely if they're just completely unhealthy for you and not good for you anymore, and some of them just get kind of changed, so you maybe you let go of some of the unhealthy parts of that agreement, but just say, angels, please help me with this, and imagine all your family agreements out in front of you, and then just gold light, lots of gold light, and just let some of them melt if they're going to totally melt, and let some of them just change if they're going to change. And you can say, angels, help me to do this. Angels, help me to update all my family spiritual agreements. And your angels will know that you mean, make them healthy for you. So again, the affirmation version of that would just be, angels, help me to update all my family agreements so that they're healthy for me. All right. So anyway, so that's part of it, that she had some unhealthy agreements with her. A lot of times parents, they will reinforce like a pecking order, like, listen to your sister, like if the mom's too busy and the sister, she sort of appoints her as the referee, and so the sister's supposed to keep you from running in front of traffic or something. So the mom will be like, listen to your sister. And so that can be an agreement that you took on. Oh, I have to listen to my sister. My sister's in charge. My sister knows best. My sister is like the substitute mom today, while she's watching me. And so now, of course, you're a grown woman. You can melt that agreement, So I think that's really most of the reason why she feels inferior to her, is just these agreements that she took on as a kid. From her mom and from her sister, that she was like low person on the totem pole. And obviously that's no longer appropriate or healthy, right? So again, just imagine the spiritual agreements with all family members, and then just update them all. Lots of gold light, and just have your angels help you do it. So your angels will make sure you do it in a healthy, gentle way. So it's okay. Say, angels, help me to update my family agreements so that they're healthy for me. And that can cover extended family agreements, with like your mother-in-law, all that stuff. All right, good job, guys. Woohoo! So that was so interesting. I couldn't resist, even though she didn't post it as a question. Okay, so somebody else posted, she said this, she didn't really say it in a question form. This is true for a lot of them. They just kind of go on and on. So bear with me for a second as I read it. The scenario whereby one's person limitations should apply to all. So for example, if I have a job and therefore have money and could travel, my sister might get sullen and almost attack me with her poor meanness and reference how she can't go, as if one thing has anything to do with the other. I mean, we aren't married, we are two separate people. And she definitely would not be happy for me. That's way too much to ask and ruin it for me. And if her problems should be mine too, as if her problems should be mine too. I hope I'm making this clear. It's just an example, but it's so palpable to me that I can feel now how I might not live my own life in order to protect myself from their reactions or jealousy or commentary. It's so insane. No boundaries, enmeshed, yuck. So, yeah. So of course it's not exactly a question, but there are many questions in it. So we covered in the healing today that you can clear spiritual agreements, and we just did it too. So chances are, I mean, in this case, there are agreements that this person took on that when she was young, and parents do this. They're like, okay, you help your brother, it's your job to help your brother, or it's your job to, listen to your sister. And so that's sort of, you're all in it together, take care of each other. The reason parents do that, I mean, they mean well, but it's sort of misguided. I mean, they just don't want you guys to, beat each other up all the time when you're kids, I think they're trying to teach compassion and empathy, but it's a really backwards way of doing it, to kind of dump on your kid these rules about like, okay, you're your brother's keeper now, like ideally, it just takes more focus and presence to teach a child empathy and compassion in general, and empathy and compassion for their sibling. And so generally people are just like, you listen to your brother, you know, or something. So you just have to update the agreements. And yes, it's true that I don't think the angels have a problem with somebody taking a vacation if their sibling cannot take that vacation. You know, I mean, if your sibling is literally starving and, you know, on the streets, there, you know, you can ponder if it's your role to be a support system for that sibling. But, you know, you could clear your family out first of your energy field so that you know that it's something that genuinely is your decision to do. But if it's just something like frivolous, like a vacation that you're doing and your sibling isn't, I mean, there's no blanket rule from the angels that you know you have to make sure all of your siblings can go on vacation. So it would be just clearing guilt. I mean, obviously you can sort of feel the flavor of resentment in the question. And so that's the idea. You want to clear that resentment. You want to view from the sixth and not from the fourth. Because if you, like this person, she's too stuck in her fourth, you're too stuck in your fourth. I'll speak directly to her. So you want to more and more don't resent your sister, because you're kind of caught in a loop where she resents you and you resent her for resenting you, you know. And it's like, well, you know, you're holding yourself down. Just notice that she resents you because you have more abundance than she does, and be okay with that. Work on being peaceful with that reality that your sister resents you. Heal your inner wounds. You know, we did this work at the end of today's healing quite a bit, where you heal inner wounds. I think it was right at the there'll be timestamp links later, but it was, where was that in today's healing? We did a lot of heal inner wound work. It was about an hour, 15 minutes into it, where we healed inner wounds that were causing you to feel certain ways and do certain things with your family. So I would say heal your inner wounds that cause you to resent your mother and your sister. I think that with most people, and another person as well, but it's true in general, if you really, really, really resent, you know, anybody, chances are you have inner wounds that aren't just from that interaction with that person, but also from past lives, from childhood, from other situations with other people, and it just all gets triggered with this person. So it's kind of like you have a thing, you know. And so you just heal all your inner wounds from wherever they're from that cause you to resent your sister for being resentful. You know, allow her to resent you, allow her to be jealous of you. She has free will. You know, maybe she's not as old as you spiritually, likely. And so it's pretty appropriate that she would resent you, you know? And so it's more appropriate for you at the age that you are to work on self-forgiveness, to work on forgiving her for being where she's at. You know, it doesn't mean you have to be your best buddy either, you know? But I think if you clear the agreements that you made with your mom, then you'll be more able to just not be joined at the hip with your sibling. So yeah, hope that helps. Interesting question. I do have also an MP3, which I think this person might know, but maybe other people don't know. Probably a lot of people don't know. I have this MP3 recording on my website. I have a lot of MP3 recordings that I made in like 2013 and 2014 on my website, in the free meditations menu on my website. And there's one called Releasing Resentment, Betrayal, and Conflict Energy. Releasing Resentment, Betrayal, Conflict Energy. And it's about 26 minutes long, and it's like on the free meditations menu, page 3 of 3. So I will type that out. My website is janetwrightreadings.com. Just like this YouTube channel. And the recording is called Releasing Resentment, Betrayal, and Conflict Energy. Okay, cool. So good question. Thank you very much. let's change gears and okay, so somebody else asks, again, it's not exactly posed as a question, so just bear with me as I read it. She talks about her mother, and her mother has competitiveness and jealousy of anyone else receiving attention other than her, and a tendency to be jealous of my relationship with my partner. My mother tends to talk about my money, career, and relationship with friends or my uncle, either sharing how terrible it is that I don't have more money or a career that she deems appropriate, or how wonderful my relationship, all of which feels like a violation of my privacy. So I think the thing is, what's happening that causes you, I'm speaking directly to this person who posted the question, why it feels so invasive is because she's in your space walking through your relationship as she's talking to people about it. She's in your workspace, your career space, walking through it as she's talking about how unfortunate it is and how this hasn't yet happened for you and blah, blah, blah. She's literally in your space talking to others about your life. If she were totally out of your energy field talking about your life, I don't think you'd care at all. You'd just be like, she needs a hobby. But it wouldn't feel like creepy like that. The creepiness comes because she's walking through your inner spiritual gardens, so to speak, So you could imagine all your inner spaces. It's probably like certain aura layers, certain chakras, but it might be more interesting to imagine them all like inner gardens. And just imagine like, okay, dang, there's like a darker, shadowy third of all your inner gardens where your mom just strolls on through and talks to people about stuff, and so redo those back thirds of all your inner gardens so that your mom doesn't have access to them. Make big gold bubbles, ground them, do tricolor earth energy soak, and clean out any beings in the area, and just really own it so that she has no access to your inner gardens. And I mean, nor should your partner have access to your inner gardens either, but your partner is very respectful. So even though your inner gardens are accessible, your partner doesn't go through there, in this person's particular case. Her need for attention and all that, yeah. I mean, she has inner wounds that cause her to need that. You could get her a series of triplets if you wanted, but also you could just work with her on, energy healing flowers. I have 2 different videos that do energy healing flowers for other people, and they're very newbie friendly and safe to do because the angels help you and they're super respectful. So you could just develop like a plan with her if you don't want to get her like 3 triplets in a row or something, and maybe in addition to that, even if you did want to. But otherwise, you could do it for free just with energy healing flowers with her over time. Because the more she works with her angels, the faster she's going to heal and evolve, and the less starved she will be for other people to focus on her. She'll get a life, basically. Because like if you look at her spiritual path, it's just like this big junkyard of like old baby photos and just other people's stuff. Like she's like a collector of other people's junk, and she just goes through it like a hoarder of what other people have discarded. So I would definitely remove anything of yours that's on her path. Just don't go on her path, but just like a big gold sun, call your energy back from her. Any old energy of yours, because she is a real collector. And then you can explain on a spirit level, hey mom, you see this path? That's why you feel kind of low sometimes. You can ask your angels to clear off your spiritual path. And then I'm saying that to her right now, and she's kind of like, why would I do that? And I'd say, well, I think you'll just feel happier. It's better for your immune system and your sleep too. And then she's like, oh. So then now she just asks her angels to clean off her spiritual path. So you see, like, just, I would say that's stuff like that. Her heart chakra is weak and her spiritual path you know, she's a hoarder of other people's stuff, so then she just gets fixated on other people instead of herself. So there's hope. But yeah, get her out of your gardens. That's the creepy factor as she talks about you to other people. All right. So good question. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to do one from here, from what I'm seeing. Someone says, yeah, okay. Somebody says, what's the next thing my angels are telling me I should work on energy-wise and life focus-wise? Also, am I ready for a partner yet? Consciously a no, but I'm open to ideas. Thank you. You know, I would say for focus, I don't know if this is what you meant by life focus, but good karma windows in the back, I would say work those more. Like, you know, the good karma windows, they, yours are kind of wrapped around with like just old energy blocks. They're not beings, they're just energy. It's like if you had a frame and they just wrapped it in a lot of gauze. So like it's more some windows than other windows, but I would just work that more. Like work your good karma windows and just get all that guck off them and clear the energy blocks in between them more. That would help your focus. And you can do pixel healing. Pixel healing is something that we did in the last triplet set for the first time. I think each, the Friday, Sunday, and Tuesday healing had some pixel healing in it. The Friday and Sunday, we did it specifically only on these chakras for 4.5 and 5. But then the last Tuesday healing, we did a really quick version on all the chakras. So whatever, if you need a walkthrough, you can find it in one of those videos from early September 2020. I don't know if it made it into the title, but if you search Janet Wright Pixel Healing, you'll find choices. But anyway, I would do pixel healing on your 7th and your 3rd. That could help with, you know, focus and action. Because a lot of times when people say focus, they really mean like productivity, you know? Like I want to focus on something and take action, you know, and not get distracted into 7 other things before I take action, you know? And so 7th is the idea of it, the goal of it, and 3rd is doing it, you know, and following through. So if you did pixel healing on astral and physical chakras of your 7th and your 3rd chakra, that could help. And then, like I said, good karma window stuff, more of that. If you search good karma windows, if you need a walkthrough, I mean, this is really what I'm saying, the gauze around the windows. I don't really talk about that in any of the walkthroughs. So, but anyway, okay. So hope that helps. Someone says, Janet, thanks for the healing. Am I ready to start healing my family? What do the angels say? Thanks. I love you. You're welcome. Well, at your most stable these days, you're in 7 through 3 a lot. So that means you're present in physical bodies chakra 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So that's pretty good, you know, like 3rd chakra is taking action, you know, follow through. So being in 7 through 3 regularly is pretty stable, you know. It's still not being in 2 or 1, which would be ideal. So if you're in all your chakras, of course you're ready to start healing some family members, you know, just on a spirit level. You ask their permission and then you use a copy out in front of you and you have your angels help and everything. So you're in 7 through 3, so it's a teeny bit early. But if you want, you could do specific, like if you use that video, if you search Janet Wright, get present, if you just search Janet Wright, get present 2 and then space and 1. So Janet Wright, get present 2, 1. I think that'll pull it up. It's basically, the title is Get Present in Your Second and First Chakras. But that's the work that you need. So if you want, you can do that video on yourself, and then right at the end of that video, you can, say hi to your husband, imagine his energy field out in front of you, and just say, honey, do you want me to, maybe don't say honey, because that'll put you in your fourth, like just say his name, and just say, do you want me to help you clear out your grounding and your second and first layers? Like make a specific offer. Because you just would have done that in your video, doing that video, second layer and first layer and grounding. And so do like a mini version of that for him, just, a little bit at the top and the bottom of his second and first layers, a little bit in the front of his second and first layers, and then, go light throughout his grounding, nice and wide, unblock it, maybe like 2 minutes of that, and then maybe say, okay, honey, bye, or don't say honey when you're healing him. Okay. Whatever his name is, bye. And then just maybe do a tricolor soak and just say, angels, can I have a blessing and healing? Just to kind of clean out after the end. So yeah, so you're ready to do specifically on grounding and 2-in-1, layers 2-in-1. If you see that your husband needs aura repair, you can just have his angels do it. Just say, oh, John, I know his name isn't John, but, for example, oh, John, your angels can repair your aura if you ask them. And then that'll be enough reminder for him to ask his angels to do it. But when you get into all your chakras, then yeah, for sure. But now you could do, since you're consistently in 7-3 lately, yeah, you can do grounding and blocking, and then do your first and second layers, and then do a little mini version for your husband. I don't remember if you have kids and how old they are and whatever, but if you do have kids, then yes, you could do that exact same thing for your kids. Okay. Someone says, I have a period of healing coming up after a surgery. Is there anything I need to work on? Thanks. I think you could keep working on the inner motivator, heal your wounded inner motivator stuff. That's from the Tuesday healing, September 8th, 2020. Heal wounded inner motivator. And I think in today's healing, heal the inner wounds, that it's around, there'll be a timestamp eventually, but it's around an hour and 15 minutes into it. We were doing a lot of heal inner wound stuff that gives you weaker family boundaries, that makes you self-avoidant, that makes you invasive in other family members. So do that more. Because I think if you're motivated and then you have boundaries with family, it's like, there's no problem. You don't have a problem anymore, So that would be the thing. Heal your wounded inner motivator more, and then do the inner wound stuff from today's healing. That'll be enough to work on. Okay, so I'm going to have to go back to my giant stash of questions that were pre-submitted yesterday. Okay, somebody says, can you help me to identify the best way to set a respectful communication boundary with my relationship partner? He speaks to me unkindly when he gets into his moods, and when I ask him to use a nicer tone of voice with me, he gets angry. So I kind of spoke to this a little bit. This is a great question. Thank you very much. I kind of spoke to this a little bit during the healing itself. It is a very, very common issue, not just you, I promise, for sure. But a lot of times if you notice your partner getting triggered and then they start getting a tone of voice, unfortunately, it's not the right time to point that out to them. Like there's a chance that their tone of voice and their snippy mood has nothing to do with you. But there's a chance also that you're courting them too much and you're actually part of the reason that they're getting snippy, even though consciously you and that person aren't really adding it all up properly at the moment. it just happens so fast, and subconsciously. But anyway, in general, as a general rule, if someone has a bad tone with you, it's going to backfire if you point it out right then and there, because they're imbalanced, they're handling stuff, they're triggered, their grounding's probably stuck. There's a lot going wrong for them to have that tone with you. And so it's going to trigger a lot of old baggage, you pointing it out to them. I mean, you would say logically, well, of course I want to point it out, nip it in the bud right away, right? I don't want to be disrespected. But there are ways to have a respectful, harmonious relationship, and that's not it. You know what I mean? That's just one of those times where you just breathe and chill out and have your angels melt cords, and you melt cords and heal your inner wounds that are getting triggered by his tone, and just chill. Like I said, if you feel like there's an overall disrespectful vibe all the time, that can be addressed, or sometimes that can be addressed, but not right in that moment. It can't be addressed. That's pretty much the worst time to bring it up consciously. And for this questioner specifically, you used to have a lot of issues courting on many, many chakra levels, like pretty much all chakras at once, a lot of the time, accidentally, because of old baggage, not your fault at all. But now you don't do that, but you court at the lower 3 chakras, so 3, 2, and 1. So a lot of times when your partner has a tone with you, you've been courting chakras 3, 2, 1 for at least an hour. And I know it's totally not what you mean to do at all. It's the opposite of what you mean to do, and you go out of your way to be respectful on all levels and yada yada. It's just, that's what happens when you still have some inner wounds, because of things you've been through with other people in other lives, in this life. It's like your spirit is like, oh, don't be that way, don't do this, don't be this way, because you're nervous. You don't want bad things to happen again to you in a relationship. So those wounds cause you to be invasive and start courting your partner, and then your partner doesn't realize what's happening. He doesn't clear the cords, and so he just gets pissed. And then you mention, your tone, and then it's like, that's the match to the gasoline right there, So long story short, you're still courting him at 3, 2, 1. Not all the time, that's for sure. But definitely by the time he gets a tone with you, you've been courting him at 3, 2, 1 for an hour. So rule of thumb. So just, work on that. I know it's not on purpose at all. Maybe do pixel healing for your 3, 2, 1, because you're probably too triggered on those chakra levels, because of work and other things. And, and so you're getting too triggered, and then you're like, well, you know what? This is the last thing I need is you acting up. And so you're accidentally getting controlling with him because you want him to act in a certain way. And you're trying to subconsciously, parts of you are controlling him to try to make him act in a certain way, which of course backfires in an epically dramatic manner. So just heal your inner wounds that cause you to be invasive with your partner. Accidentally. I know you're a delightful soul. And heal the inner wounds, which you could use today as a walkthrough if you want, around an hour 15. We do a lot of healing inner wound stuff, specifically that makes you invasive. And then also, pixel healing for you in chakras 3, 2, 1, astral and physical, in front and back, all those chakra openings. Just do pixel healing. And if anyone else or you missed that walkthrough, I do it more explicitly, I think, in the Sunday healing. Maybe also the Friday healing in September. We did 5, 4.5, and 4. And I know that this questioner did that because she works a lot, but she works on this stuff. So pixel healing, I would say, for your 3, 2, 1. And that'll help you not get blocked up for work reasons. And therefore, then you'll have more flow there. And so that'll help you to just let your partner be however he's going to be. So that there's not the blow-ups. And then, because the thing is, people get irritable, and can you let it ride a little bit? You know, I mean, if you can let it ride, even on a soul level, chances are they're going to get over it and they're going to be like, you know, yeah, I was kind of irritable. Sorry about that, you know, later. But most people can't let it ride. They get so threatened and then they just kind of challenge that person then and there, and whoo, you know, bad things happen. So I would say try the other approach. So thank you for your question. Very universal. So wonderful to bring it up. Thank you so much. Somebody says, how do my husband and I have better boundaries with my husband's sister? How do I have better boundaries with my immediate family? Interesting. Okay. So your brother's sister, your husband's sister, kind of like that earlier question where the person's mother was like walking through her inner gardens talking about her to other people. Your husband's sister, your sister-in-law, is doing that with you. Like, I mean, you would think she's being invasive with her brother, and she probably is on several levels, but like chakra cords, that kind of thing. But with you, she's walking through your inner gardens of like your career space, your, you know, your meditation space, your creativity space, your exercise space, you know, just different spaces. So you can just clean her out of all your aura and your chakras, or just imagine your gardens, you know, and just, you know, just imagine, okay, here are all my gardens, you know, you don't have to be precise about it, and just notice where she is and just clean it out, you know, because it's not like she broke in there. It was kind of unattended, certain parts of your garden, because your mom does the same thing. There we go. Your mom also breaks into your gardens and hangs out in them and has like running commentary to you about what you could change about your gardens while standing in your gardens. So that's that whole creepy factor of it, you know, like it's not just a mother offering opinions that you didn't ask for. It's like she's in like deep spiritual parts of you, like trying to change things around. And that's very annoying and irritating. I actually had somebody very recently who did that with my business. And she tried to do it with my business. And she was like, she emailed me, and I know that she meant well. And she was like, so nice, consciously, you know? But she was trying to, I guess, volunteer to give me all sorts of business strategy stuff. And the thing is, she was trying to be very invasive, but she didn't realize she was trying to be very invasive. So when I gave her a big no, like, no way, you are not my business advisor. There is no scenario on this planet Earth where you are my business advisor. You are not invited to be my business advisor. I give her a very thorough, you know, whoosh, we are not going there. And I'm sure she was shocked and offended and whatever, but it's just, there are a lot of people that mean well that do that to people their whole lives. You know, they just walk through somebody else's mind or their garden, and they help, and they offer helpful suggestions, you know. And it feels totally different than somebody who just makes some casual comment from outside of your brain and your mind and your soul. You know, it's just a different experience. So anyway, long story short, happens a lot. So yeah, imagine your gardens, clear out your mom, clear out your sister-in-law, and I think that would do it. How can your husband have better boundaries with his sister? I would say the same thing. I would say clean out your gardens for maybe a week, you know, and make sure your mom and your sister are out of them, and just, you know, make sure there are no shadowy, unattended parts of your gardens. And then you can just, you know, after you've meditated someday, just on a spirit level, say hi to your husband and just show him your gardens and show him how you cleaned it out so that your mother and his sister can't access them. And then, you know, just let him know that he can work with his angels on that. And then he can, you know, in his sleep, he can work with that. Because he has the same issues with your mother and his sister. So I think that would be an easy way to deal with it. Your sister too does that, and your brother occasionally. So same answer for all of them. Clean out your gardens. There is actually a recording, an MP3 recording. I think it's called Emotional Garden or something. It's either on page 2 or page 3 of the free meditations menu on my website. So janetwrightreadings.com, the free meditations menu, page 2 or page 3. It's called emotional gardening, something like that. It's just for emotional space though. So you're pretty much just, it's very, very thorough though. So I got 3 different gardens for your emotional space and you clean everybody out of all 3 gardens. So that's a sort of a cousin of what I'm talking about. But probably what I'm talking about is a little bit easier because it's all your gardens at once and you just, clean them out all at once. But anyway, that is something too you could check into if you want. That recording is just, you can download it for free onto a desktop computer and rock it out as long as you wish. All right, so thank you for that question. Okay, so somebody else asks, and again, it's not really as a question, but bear with me. So she says she wants healthy boundaries with parents regarding different religious opinions, and then healthy boundaries with her brother about money, because she says he has a "you make all that money, so you should" kind of attitude. Like he's trying to tell her what she should do with her money. I guess because she makes a lot more money than he does, so somehow he gets it into his head that that gives him the right to mentally spend it for her. That could get annoying. You can see how these things, people can get into resistance. You can see how that would be like, are you kidding me? But try to, if you get them out of your space, then you can just forgive them for being jealous and controlling. And the point of that is to just then, it doesn't trigger you, so he can stand there and go, yeah, you know what you should really do? You make enough money, you should do this. And be like, thanks so much. I'll give that a lot of thought. And like how you say it so dry, that, you kind of conveyed like, yeah, we're not going there, or whatever. But it's like, you don't lose your presence and your flow, because it doesn't get under your skin anymore. The idea is getting under your skin, the religious dissent, the religious kibitzing about what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. And this is all getting under your skin, the judgment from your family members. I think, people have this, I don't know, you have a wish that your family would just accept you the way you are, right? But that's actually not that common. I mean, some people are from such judgmental families that you just decide to go your own way. Like me personally, I have no conscious relationship with any genetic family member whatsoever. Since I was 21, almost 22. I'm pretty sure that was the age. And for me personally, it was the best decision I've ever made in probably several lifetimes. I'm not saying it's all wine and roses after that, because you have to clear a lot of baggage, because then you're alone during all the major holidays and stuff, and so there's an adjustment period to get your space and your power and your empowerment and feel good and not need all that while the whole world is filled with commercials about family is everything and blah blah blah. And I'm not saying everyone should do that at all, but it's possible that for some people that's really necessary. But if that's not necessary for you and they just judge in certain ways that's really getting to you, then the idea is you would clear your inner wounds that are causing their judgment to trigger you and imbalance you in key ways, causing it to like dig deep. You don't want that, right? So it's a lot easier to heal your wounds than to make them stop judging, because sometimes people are judging due to their own past life baggage, due to that they're younger souls than you are spiritually. And some of that can't be fixed very easily. So it's just easier to clear your wounds. So I would say, yeah, today's healing around the hour 15 mark of it. So later, if someone's hearing this much later, today's healing would be, September 20th, 2020. The theme was healthy family boundaries, and around an hour 15 into it. There'll be an exact timestamp eventually in the comment section, but it's heal inner wounds that weaken your boundaries with family members. But it's easy. You just imagine slashes or holes in the ground and heal them up, and just keep doing that over time. I have talked in this live stream already a lot about, clear people out of your gardens. Like there's this way in which, and it's gardens are a sort of a poetic representation of your chakras and your auras and your grounding and all that. So you can look for them in your chakras and your grounding, but it's kind of fun too to just imagine your gardens, and just clear them out of your gardens. I don't think your parents go in your garden. This woman that posted this question about the brother telling her how to spend her money. I don't think your parents show up in your gardens. That's just inner wounds that you have about people judging your spiritual choices and decisions. I think your brother sometimes does walk through your gardens. So I'm sure you're going to enjoy making sure that doesn't happen anymore. Just find the parts that he hangs out in. It's like he like showed up with like a lawn chair and like a little TV, and he's just got his feet up and he's like telling you what to do. And it's in like 3 or 4 of your gardens too. It's not just in financial stuff, but I guess that's sort of the classic example that is like, are you kidding me? Dude, so just look for him in all your inner gardens and wash them out and heal those gardens to the point where they're just, nobody can get in them. Because your gardens are just for you. I do think that, I have that resolve conflict and boundary issues video for other people. If you search Janet Wright, resolve conflict boundary issues. And especially I would say the message flowers that are at the end of that video, those would be good with your brother. Just make some message flowers that just say like the kind of brother that you would ideally like, that you think, maybe there's some ideal that there's no way he could be, but there's some ideal that he could be. Like if you're looking for just some breathing room and some positive regard, like that I'm proud of you, good job, like some level of support and approval. Like just make energy healing flowers of the kind of brother that you would like. Have your angels, clean him out and adjust the vibration so that he could maybe understand, and then put him at a respectful distance in front of his aura and just show them to him and say, well, these are for you if you want, and then, because then maybe he would over time adjust a little bit, particularly if he can't get into your gardens anymore. Okay, cool. Thank you for that question. Great question. Somebody else says, this is a newbie and she didn't fill out the survey, but I think it's because I didn't send it to her because I didn't have her email address. But she's a newbie and she did get today's healing. It was her first healing. It was paid for by her niece. Or her nephew's wife. So anyway, apparently she has unexplained hearing loss and ringing in her right ear, and she's been to doctors, but there's no fix so far. Can it be fixed? Yada, yada. So I would say, definitely try with energy work for a while. I would never say don't look into medical fixes for people, unless the medical fix is like surgery, maybe try energy stuff first, but I'm not one to like, poo-poo physical level treatments, of course. But sometimes like hearing loss though, I've never personally fixed somebody's hearing loss with chakra work and aura work, but the ringing in the ears, I have had somebody like lose that. Probably several people lose the ringing in the ears just by chakra repair, aura repair, the person getting way more present. But I know there are real medical causes also. So it's like, that's the weird thing. A lot of this stuff, there can be just a pure energy reason, which you could resolve by working your energy and getting more and more present. But then it could have manifested so much on a physical level that you need a physical treatment. In which case, it could be interesting, maybe some acupuncture and Chinese medicine for that. That would be sort of the physical plane stuff that you could look into. But since it's pandemic and maybe you don't want to get treatments, from people in person right now, you could certainly. I mean, you got chakra repair today, and I think that helped you in many ways. So I would say just keep trying to get more present, and learn through all this stuff, like chakras or grounding, and just get more and more present. And we can see if that only moderates the ringing or if it goes away. You know, but again, I'm not saying don't get regular treatment, but you're saying you've sought out regular treatment and they can't do anything for you. So yeah, I would say it's fair to work on it with energy stuff. In today's healing, we did vacuum boxes. Around 54 minutes into the healing, we did this part where you use vacuum boxes, and that could be very interesting for you to do vacuum boxes around your head, particularly that side, but I would say the whole head and front and back and everything. See if vacuum boxes have an effect. So again, if you didn't catch that in today's healing, you could just go back, and in the comment section, eventually in a day or two, there'll be timestamp links for vacuum boxes. Yeah, so we'll see over time what happens with that. But yeah, it can be at least partially energy related. It just depends. Depends on the person. Somebody says, okay, they're talking about how to better deal with boundaries with her husband's daughter and her husband's ex-wife during both COVID visit restrictions and navigating ongoing custody battle. Going to official full court trial soon, such as specific behaviors and or meditations for guidance. She says she already uses the conflict zone, that resolve conflict and boundary issues video. She already does that. I would give you a similar answer to what I gave to somebody else earlier about the gardens. Clean out your gardens because not your husband's daughter, but your husband's ex-wife, both your husband's ex-wives have access to your inner gardens and of course his inner gardens. But just like I recommended to the other person, heal your inner gardens first, get rid of any, clear out and restore and heal any parts of your inner gardens that are accessible by your husband's ex-wives and by your mother, actually, and your brother. And then once you get that really nice, maybe a week of doing that, just as like 5 minutes as part of your meditation work you do every day. Then you can, show your husband just on a spirit level, just say, oh, hey, I know his name isn't this, but you could just say, hey, Joe, or whatever his name is, right? Just say, hey, Joe, look at these are my inner gardens and they're just for me, right? And I cleaned out, my mom, my brother, your mom, your ex-wives, well, not, you know what I mean? Like just, you can have your angels clean everybody out of your gardens so that your ex-wives don't have access. You can work on that with your angels, and then he'll do it with his angels in his sleep. But you could do the example first, show an example first, do it for about a week, and then point it out to him just on a spirit level. So I would say, yeah, that would be the extra thing. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Sorry about that noise. That's our water system. When someone runs the water, it makes a lot of noise. Someone says, I am overprotective of my sisters because of the way we grew up. I'm finding it difficult to let go and let them make their own mistakes and live their lives. I want to be happy for them in their relationships, but I'm not. All right, let's see. Yeah, well, this is good. I'm glad the angels had me read this one right now because it's an interesting contrast. So this client, I'm going to talk to her directly. So what you're doing is you're walking through your sister's gardens, like you're your sister's keeper. And you are checking out the gardens and sort of trying to advise them while standing in their gardens, which, very invasive, unproductive, breeds resentment, you name it, So I would say eject yourself from their gardens. Clean out your gardens, because your mom hangs out there and mucks it up. Your dad hangs out there and mucks it up. Even your sisters hang out in your gardens. So this would be nice for you to just, rather than, it's hard to focus on getting out of somebody else's gardens, but if you focus on your own gardens, then it just kind of pulls your energy out of their gardens automatically. So I would say, but maybe Gold Sun, call your energy out of their gardens, your sister's gardens. And again, I mentioned, I think at the beginning of this Q&A even, just imagine all your family agreements and just use gold light and run it through all of them. Because I think you made some agreements with your sisters that you're going to protect them in a way that you were not protected when you were growing up. But now that they're grown women, it's causing you to be invasive and kind of weird. You know what I mean? So just update those agreements. Have your angels help you to update those agreements so that you can be healthy and you can also have respectful relationships with your sisters. So update the agreements, call your energy out of their gardens, and heal your own gardens, kick everyone out of your gardens. That's what I would say. Okay, this is a good one. It's a good one because just of the intensity of it in a way. I actually don't encourage people to write very emotionally charged questions. I just try to be in your sixth and be more analytical and fact-based. That way it's less distracting for me and I can just read, because my goal is not to get your point of view on something. My goal is to read it myself and get my own view on it, right? So I really just need the people's names and like the bare outline of the situation, and then I look at it. That's my whole, that's the point. I'm a reader. That's what I want to do, right? But anyway, I understand that sometimes it's hard for people to get out of the heart chakra headspace and just get in that sixth chakra and be simple and factual. So it is what it is. But anyway, okay, so this is, again, not really as a question. It just goes on and on. So I'll just read a little bit. I'll just pick and choose parts I read. But anyway, sisters trying to extinguish my life by using courts, crook lawyers, judges, and their in-laws. They are guilty of never supporting my mother nor doing anything for her. They're blah, 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 blah. And then she says, I must stop their exploitation. As nobody knows, they want to annihilate me and take what I worked for unpaid. And then if I skip forward a whole bunch, she calls them names like bitch and this and that. And then she says, life is not about me. They have got at the core. That's how she ends. So I would say it's not uncommon for people to have fights over inherited property or, inherited money, stuff like that. There's a lot of resentments that happen. And the thing is, it has to do with past life baggage as well. So if you are so intense about an issue that you want to use words like bitch and all this, even in a write up to me, when I'm not really fond of, big, long, stories where you call everybody names, then you have a lot of hurt energy about it, right? Of course. And I mean, if I'm going to just speak directly to this person, you've had property disputes. You've had property disputes and financial wealth disputes that were very intense and very acrimonious with different groups of people over 7 recent lifetimes and past lives with different groups of people. Like, this is your thing. You're stuck in a rut where you have disputes over wealth and property, and you get so passionate about it, and you're sure you're right, and you're sure that, a fight to the death is what's necessary and appropriate. And then you get to heaven and you're like, oh, I forgot again. So the idea is you're supposed to learn that you are not money and you are not property, and that you're supposed to learn a more evolved perspective on all this. And you're supposed to, and this is not me saying it. I mean, I see it, and I see that you're going to keep having these dramas until you basically take the high road and chill out and stop like hating and just think, well, they have this, this money is really important to them. This property is really important to them, and can you lighten up about it? Can you just, think, well, what do you need to live and survive? Can you work? Can you work, maybe within 3 years, you can train yourself on a new career. So you just need something to keep you going for 3 years while you train on a new career. What do you absolutely need versus what you think you deserve? Because this whole, like, I want it all because I deserve it, because I'm right and they're wrong, that's exactly the rut that you've been in for 7 different lifetimes with 7 different groups of people. So, it's up to you, but I would say it's probably time to stop driving yourself nuts. Because I think you're starting to dawn on the real truth of it underneath, because you said life is not about me, they have God at the core, which is true, except you have control over that. You have control over whether this property and money dispute is the core of you or not, right? And you're an eternal soul, and you're not just here to fight over property and money. There's so much that you could experience and learn, innocent, fun, beautiful things. And you think that you just have to win this property battle and struggle, and then you can go on to the innocent stuff. But it doesn't look like that. It looks like these things pretty much dominate your life each time it happens. Like you haven't figured it out yet, to like that it's not as important as you think it is. Like earlier here you said, I must stop their exploitation. No, not really. I mean, you could choose to not. Say they want 1/3 of the inheritance because they're, 2 sisters and you're another sister. You feel like they don't deserve it, but really, who cares? So what if they end up with 2/3 of it? Who cares? I mean, like, how much do you actually need to survive? You want to work eventually anyway, right? So just, what if? What if you just, you let go of your crusade at forcing them to stop the exploitation? I mean, it's not like you're saving, starving children in India or something. You're wrestling over some property and money that your mom left you. And your mom's in heaven, she doesn't care at all about it anymore. I mean, people in heaven, they just look down and they're like, ooh, my goodness, my children are fighting too much. She just wants you to be at peace. She doesn't need you to win a court battle and get justice for her. She's in heaven. Like, she gets it already. You don't get it because you're here. And in a lifetime, it's really easy to get so caught up in petty things that really don't matter. So I know it feels like it matters because you have a lot of old wounds. And so I'm not trying to minimize how much you're hurting, but I'm just saying your hurt is causing you to waste your life. And then you're blaming it on them for wasting your life, but you're wasting your life. So just do that inner wound healing stuff from today's healing. an hour, 15 minutes into today's healing, roughly, we did a lot of healing inner wounds. So just heal the inner wounds that cause you to hate your siblings, heal your inner wounds that cause you to feel like you have to have all the property, because that's what your mother would have wanted when she was alive, even though now she doesn't care at all, you know, like just heal those wounds that cause you to care that these people have a different opinion than you about the property disputes. Just stop caring about it so much. Take back your life. That's how you make sure they don't get to the core of your life, is you just take back your life. You heal your wounds and you move on. So I hope that helps. Maybe you hate me now. I hope not. But that's my answer. And it is a very common issue. I mean, maybe not at that level, but people have sort of inheritance squabbles with their siblings a lot. So I hope that helps other people too. I'm gonna wrap up soon. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to. Yeah, please don't directly address other people that you see on the. Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody's being kind of odd, so yeah, don't. Sorry about all that. It's hard for me to do what I'm doing and then police everything too. But yeah, obviously, I don't need like nonsense stuff where people are squabbling with other people on the live stream. It's not what this is about. Sorry about that, guys. You can just ignore it if you ever see it. All right. Yeah, so I'm going to go back to probably only one or two more. Oh, this one's really good too. God, they're all so good. So good. Okay. So this woman, okay, she says, I find it challenging to balance being, okay, well, for context, her kids are, she has a son who's in his early 20s, a daughter, two daughters, one is late 20s, one is 30. She says, I find it challenging to balance being true to my needs and asking for help. When my children were young, they say I was harsh and mean. I do know I was overwhelmed by, but a loving mom. There were times where I was harsh, but mostly because they wouldn't listen to me. Then she's talking about one of her daughters, the eldest daughter, who's 30-ish. Her energy is so strong. She loves to judge me, and I just bite my tongue now to keep the peace. Don't even ask anymore for her to clean her room. She lived in New York, but just returned home during COVID. And then she's talking about the other one who's in her late 20s. She says, I feel I have a wall up with her because I never know when she's going to go off and tell everyone off in the house. I do babysit her children. She wants me to be close to her and is jealous of my relationship with her sister, but I ask her not to make a scene when I have visitors, and she doesn't stop. I now have a wall up when both of the girls are around. My question would be, how do we get to the root of the problem in a loving way? They are amazing girls, but overbearing at times. It's hurtful, and now I hide from them in my own home to keep the peace. And I have other family problems due to them speaking like that to other family members. They mean well, it's the tone of their energy that is off. I accept my responsibility and would love more than anything to have a peaceful and joyful relationship with all of them and the rest of my family. Okay, so this again applies to a lot of people, maybe not quite this way, but so that's part of why I love this. Okay, so your kids are old, right? And I know it's natural for you to refer to them as my kids, but as often as you can, try to remind yourself how old they are. They're 30. That is grown as grown as grown. That's fully brain developed, you're seeing a finished product. Okay, so this is not time to, teach your 8-year-old to put away her toys, right? This is a grown woman. You're seeing, take it or leave it, that's her. Okay. So, you talk about the girls and stuff. Words are powerful, like in your own mind. Try to think of them as, maybe my daughters, but try not to use girls, like it's because you're a mom and you knew them when they were tiny. You want to try to really click out of that mode where you think they're girls and you think it's your responsibility that these girls behave. It's no longer your responsibility. You're choosing to let them live in your house. You're choosing to babysit their kids. If it still works for you, it still works for you. But there's no agreement between you and them that they should clean their rooms. There's no spiritual agreement that I can see about that. And they're grown people, so they can keep their room the way they want to keep their room. You know what I mean? Like, if that's bothering you, I would say heal your inner wounds or kick them out. Do you know what I mean? But if it's bothering you and you're treating it like a personal insult that they're not cleaning their room, something within you is happening. You have some inner wounds to heal. I think a lot of times women and men, have inner problems and they're thinking that their kids are gonna fill those voids. Like, I feel lonely. I think I need a big family. I feel like I have no friends. So why don't I have 4 kids now? And that way I'll always have friends and then I'll have the grandkids and it'll be great. And then you realize these are real people and maybe they're not so nice all the time. And maybe I need real friends. See what I'm saying? Maybe you're thinking that your daughters are going to fulfill certain needs that they're not able to fulfill. Like, for real, permanently, they cannot fulfill your needs. And so maybe you need to look at that, journal about that. What are your needs? If you need kind, gentle understanding, you may really just need a best friend, or you may need a dog or a cat, or you know what I mean? Or just some heart chakra healing, because what you see is what you get. I mean, yeah, people can evolve, but it doesn't seem like, like if I look and the way they are now is this way, and if they heal, they could be that way, but you're hoping they're this way. And it's like, right, you're not going to get the kind of kids that you think you should get, So try not to be personally offended by that. It doesn't mean that you ruined them. And it just means for some reason people pick their kids, like in heaven, the kids pick you and you pick the kids. There's this very long, drawn out life planning thing where you're picking one at a time each child spirit that you brought into the world. So you pick these kids, but they're not moldable anymore by you. So you can't get them to pick up their room. You can't get them to not pick fights with your relatives. Like, that's just completely, like, give it up, girl. Like, this is a grown-ass 30-year-old woman, and you're hoping that she doesn't pick fights with other people in the family. If other people in the family piss her off and she wants to speak her mind, she's going to speak her mind. Who are you to say she can't speak her mind? You see what I'm saying? Like, I get that they're in your home, but that doesn't mean you can pretend that they're still 9 years old. You know what I mean? Like, on a spirit level, there's no authority that you have to expect that. So I'm just saying that some of your hopes and dreams and desires for, what kind of an extended family you should have, you may need to put that into your planning of your next life, because it doesn't look like it's this life. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think you do court your kids, and you put your ideas of how they should act and how they should be, you put that in their aura a lot. You mean well, you don't realize you're doing it, but you do it. So I would say you could use today's recording, today's healing video that we did, and about an hour, 15 minutes into it, roughly, there'll be a part about healing inner wounds that weaken your boundaries with family members, that cause you to be self-avoidant, and that cause you to be invasive with family members. So all that's really good. And then also, towards the very end of that healing, like almost at the 2-hour mark, about an hour 55, hour 57 minutes into it, we healed wounded inner motivator parts of you that got wounded by your family. So it could be that, being a mom wasn't really easy for you as a kid when they were young, and parts of you that are enthusiastic and motivational for you, parts of you got wounded by all the stress and responsibility of being a mom, which, there's a lot of stress and responsibility to being a mom. So you have to heal those wounded inner motivator parts of you. They're not going to heal your wounded inner motivator parts of you by cleaning up their room and making nice to your whole family. That's not how this reality works. I mean, I know that sounds mean. I'm sorry. Life is just not, it's not always the way we want it to be. So heal your wounded inner motivator parts of you that got wounded by family experiences in this life and past lives. That's towards the end of today's recording on family boundaries. And then, like I said, about an hour, 15 minutes into it, heal the inner wound stuff, do all of that. But then just maybe journal about it, how your kids are adults. You can't mold them. You can't change their character. It's more of a take it or leave it situation at this point. So you could leave it. You could kick them all out. You could clear your karma with them. You have a choice. But, the molding time period is over. I mean, because like I said, where you want them to be, and like even if they got lots of healings, like if you suddenly struck it rich and you could get them all the group healings, I mean, you still wouldn't get the family that you have in your mind that you should get. So, get some hobbies, heal yourself, get like one or two best friends, and pick and choose what you do with your kids so that you're happy. Okay, hope that helps. All right. Okay, the last one I'm doing. My mom nags me to do. Okay, and this woman who's posting it, she's like mid-20s, I think. I want to say maybe late 20s. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Yeah, maybe mid-late 20s. But anyway, she says, my mom nags me to do certain things, and she tells me more than once in like a minute when I'm about to do it. Or she asks me about school and if I'm going back to finish my degree. That triggers me. Okay, so I like how this question came right after the other one, because it's like, the earlier questioner, she feels, she needs to heal her inner wounds so that she doesn't feel unloved when this 30-year-old daughter of hers doesn't clean her room, right? So this is the other situation where this is the daughter, the adult, full-grown daughter, who lives with her mother, different people, and the daughter is saying, she tells me more than once to do something, and I'm going to do it, and she just keeps saying it. Or she asked me if I'm going to go back to school and finish my degree. So my answer to this poster is clear your mom out of your gardens. Just imagine all your gardens, your career gardens, your any love life garden, everything. Clear your mom out, clear your boyfriend out if you're on, I forget if you're on or off with him now, but clear everybody out. Your ex-boyfriends, your current boyfriends, your stepdad, your dad, anyone, especially your mom though. Clear them out of your gardens. And then heal your inner wounds that get triggered when your mother gives you advice or asks you to do something. Because it somehow is digging very deep for you, even when she asks just once if you could do something. I think because she does it with a heavy dose of guilt. I think, like, for example, say she's saying, oh, can you please take out the garbage? On a spirit level, she's saying, I think this is the least that you could do for me for all that we've done for you. Why don't you take out the garbage? And why do I have to ask you to do it? So it's not just like a simple thing. It's this whole big, lump of like, guilt and obligation and whatever. So I would say, she does feel very put upon by the world all the time. And she does tend to blame that on everyone around her. She's got some inner wounds. And, like I said earlier, it's easy for parents to get caught up in this headspace that, oh, my kids are going to make me feel joyous and happy all the time. And so when they're not, cleaning up their room or doing their homework, and I feel awful about it, it's all their fault, but it's not really. It's a lot of inner wounds that just are getting triggered by your offspring doing or not doing something. So to this person, clear your mom out of your gardens, heal your inner wounds so that she can say what she says, and it is what it is. Like she does lots of guilt trips. So just clear your inner wounds so that if she's trying to guilt trip you, it really doesn't bother you. I think you could get clarity on what do you do around the house that you feel is a good contribution, and make your own schedule to do it. And you could let her know, this is my schedule, this is when I do these things, so that you don't feel like she's got a stopwatch on you and she's like your boss at home. So I think if you take ownership of the tasks that you're going to do, then you don't have this sort of mother-child dynamic where she is like forcing you to be responsible. I think that she pushes you, because she's controlling, but also because you really look like you're not going to do it. You know what I mean? You have a very like, leave me alone, I don't want to think about any of that kind of vibe, and that's what she picks up on, and it really triggers her. So I would say, it's not bad energy to get present with your responsibilities around the house, your household duties, and get good energy about it, get enthusiasm about it, work on your inner motivator about it, and just work on a schedule that works for you. And so that way, if she asks, be like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do that in 5 hours after I get this done first, or and you'll have a very present energy about it, and it's good for you, and I think it'll be less triggering for her. So that's my answer. Lots of different things. So you may have to re-listen to that because I said a whole bunch. But clear out of your garden, take responsibility for what you're going to do, and you could share that with her verbally, or just energy-wise. I think you'll vibe different, and she'll notice it. But then just make peace with that. She has a lot going on, and she's going to guilt trip you pretty regularly, and you just wash it off, Okay. All right. So good job, everybody, for giving me such fascinating issues. And I'm sorry that I couldn't get to everybody. There were some really good ones I couldn't get to. But that's the way it is. This stuff is so fascinating, and there's just endless good stuff. So hope this helped. Hope it's a really great recording for you guys. And that's that. You're awesome. If you could give it a thumbs up, if you didn't already, if you like it. The next Q&A will happen next month. There's a Q&A after each Sunday healing I do. So, and there's like probably, I don't know, and when this Q&A started, there were 9 spots left for the November Healing Masterclass on positive change in like mid-November. So you could go on my website if you want, janetwrightreadings.com, if you wanted to get one of those remaining spots. That's the November Healing Masterclass on positive change on November 15th. But the next live stream healing that I'm doing is Friday, October 2nd. And then October 4th and October 6th are also healing live streams. And October 4th, that's the Sunday. So right after that healing, I'll do a Q&A. So that's the next Q&A I'm doing is Sunday, October 4th, 2020. So thank you. People are saying thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for my questions. So validating and empowering. You're awesome. You're awesome for sharing your knowledge. Much appreciation. Thank you. Love the glasses. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Everyone's very kind. Thank you very much. Okay, take care. I'm gonna go have a deluxe meal and then a nap. All right, bye.